So 2017 was an interesting year for us. It was just one of those with everything going on from like the end of 2016, me getting into the car accident, which messed my shoulder up really bad, to having our son in March 3rd of 2017. And I remember those days explicitly well because, like I state all the time, my son means the world to me. And just seeing the pictures of everything and reflecting back on the year, it's amazing because you look at all these pictures and you're like, wow, that all happened. Like, even going as far back as June, seeing the different pups we had at the time. At one point, we only had Kita when we moved in here. And then we went from having Kita to five dogs because we found four and rescued them. I mean, when I say rescued, it wasn't that the lady who had them didn't care, because she really did care. She was a good lady. It's just they were in a bad spot. It was rough. It wasn't something that they needed to be in, because you could tell she was struggling a little bit. But brought them back here, and wow, just the trauma they had at first was just sad. I laugh because I just remember like just standing in the bathroom with Marky and going through their fur, looking for all the fleas. Then we had to get them worm medicine to help deworm them. It was just an intense year. It was just an intense moment, honestly. We had the four that we got. If I remember their names right, it was Apollo, Coco, Paradox. Oh, there was five. Like I said, Paradox, Psy, and Cobain. They were great dogs. Just they weren't really for us. They were more outside dogs. It showed. They didn't really get the rules of the house. We had issues with them. Just I understand puppies are puppies, but there comes a point to where now I have a hole in the wall to replace because of them. They just were very aggressive, and it was a lot of it didn't have to do with. I don't say a lot of it had to do with what breed they were. They were more kind of hunting dogs, so in a way, it does have a part to do with the breed they were. In my opinion, I think it could have been a little bit better. It could have went a little bit better. Also, I mean, it's just you think about it and you're like, wow. Just then looking at our son, he's grown up so much. Like, I can't even tell you how much he has grown. He went from being just a toddler to being 10 months old now. And today is January 3rd, 2018, which would be 10 months from the day he was born. And I remember exactly the day he was born because he was my world. That day was crazy. March 3rd, I want to say at 8:40 p.m. It was Marky and me had talked and sat down and discussed. She didn't want anybody else in the room other than me. I think it was me, Eleanor, and Allie. That's all she wanted in the room. Eleanor didn't make it because she ended up getting stuck doing something. She was kind of upset and mummed. Allie was there the whole time, I want to say, and she stayed through the whole thing and she helped. And honestly, I did the best I can. Marky was very glad that I was there because it just helped take the tension off of her. I was there to comfort her. I was there to help her push through it. I was there to help her through everything, and I did. I was there from the beginning to the end. Of course, there were some points to where I ended up having to leave. I want to say after he was born, because in the whole process, what happened was he was born a little bit sooner, only because she ended up something happened on the couch where she ended up falling. She ended up hitting her tummy a little bit. Didn't hurt him or anything, but sent her immediately into labor. So then when we got to the hospital, or I should say, actually, she got to the hospital because I was supposed to work that night. So if they weren't going to induce her, I was going to go into work. But since they induced her, I had to pull in immediate leave, which was personal leave from work, which I'm very grateful they allowed me to do. And then rushed over to the hospital to see her sitting in the hospital bed. They were talking to her. They were going to end up having to induce her labor because they were worried her contractions were there, but she wasn't dilating fast enough. Then it went from, I think, I don't even want to say she took a nap. I want to say it was quick. So they ended up dilating her and then helping speed up the process. And then within like a few hours, or maybe no, yeah, few hours, I want to say she was ready to push him out. And at first, being her first child, she's not used to it. She did get the epidural. They did take care of that. She was contemplating natural birth when she before she went into labor, but she did look up some videos about the ups and downs of a epidural and and also natural birth because that was just something she wanted to look at. So what happened was is in this process of her giving birth, being first child, freaking out, just a pain, you could just see her the strain on her, and it was emotional for her. Everything leading up to this was emotional to all the way down to just burying the child because it was important for all of us and it was important to her just as much because this is her child too, which means everything to her, which I think is awesome. Going from just a single mindset to being with somebody to conceiving a child and having the child, and that was actually kind of it's kind of interesting how that all happened. But like I was saying, in the hospital, he was born beautiful, beautiful baby. You know how the saying goes? A lot of people talk about babies when they're just born; they look like aliens. Everybody wanted to tell us, no, your kid actually came out very beautiful. He's very gorgeous. He doesn't look odd shaped or weird, which meant a lot because we were nervous. First time parents, everybody's nervous. So I mean, that's natural. It really is. And that's why we don't worry. Even if when we do decide we're ready to have a second kid, we're anxious to see how it goes. And just let's see if we have a boy or girl, but we almost kind of want to keep the second kid a secret until they're born. We kind of do and we kind of don't because it makes it really tricky to plan. Especially like neutral colors we're fine with. And that ain't gonna be the issue. It's hey, are we gonna have a boy or hey, are we finally gonna have a girl or just the mindset. And then back to like I was saying, he wasn't planned. I'm not gonna say he was a mistake because he wasn't, but he was a condom kid. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's very rare. That's one out of a million." You gotta understand, we always use condoms. He was conceived, and it just how it was. We were one night. I want to say, I was driving home after me and her were having a little ups and downs at the time in our relationship. And then from me driving home, she gave me a call and said, "Hey, remember that pregnancy test I had?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm pregnant." And I could just remember the sadness in her voice at first because she's still young. I mean, I'm not old, but I'm still young in a way. And we're like, oh, we weren't ready to sit down and have a kid. So that ran through our head. And it was just, okay, what do we do from here? How do we go about this? Do we tell anybody? Do we keep it a secret? And I remember being like, I told her, like, I do gotta call my friend. I called Robbie and talked to him, and I told him what she told me, and we went over it. And then she ended up telling Robbie, and it was just one of those. It was just needed because we both were under a lot of stress. And at the time, I had roommates. I don't hate my roommate. I don't hate my previous roommates, I should say. I don't have roommates now, thank God. But it was just one of those. There's a lot of tension between me. I lost my job at Dana because of a big issue there. I don't want to go into it. Then working at Waffle House as a cook to not making as much as I was to not being able to dish out as much money as I used to put a strain on between me and them because they wanted me to pay for pretty much everything. And like I said, I don't hate them. When you go from being used to not having to worry about anything to like, hey, it put a strain, and it really did. I mean, I don't really talk to him anymore, sadly. I wish I did, but I don't know. It was a heck of a moment. To then, after that, after they kicked me out because of just the tension between us, to spending the time on my one of my other friends' couch to moving into a studio 30 minutes from my job because at the time it was getting close to me being able to go back to Dana because they do like a 6 month time gap. So I was just starting at Dana, just got to the studio to just having nothing to working our way up to where we're at now, where we work hard and we have so much. We just there's just a lot that there's just a lot that happened to now. Fast forwarding a little bit further out the year to where Kita, she had puppies. So what happened was my mom, like I was saying though, but between what my mom actually coming down to Kentucky, it was just a lot of chaos. So I ended up taking in my mom's dog, which he ended up getting our dog pregnant, and there's just she had a horde of puppies. We thought we had a bunch of puppies at the moment, but it just turned into having a bunch of puppies to a horde of puppies. It was bad. Then just like I said, I think she had 11, no, 10 puppies, I want to say it was, because we ended up having like 15 dogs. We got rid of, because you gotta understand, we weren't really wanting to keep the first ones we got, so we ended up finding them a good home. We ended up finding good homes for quite a bit. And then, one of the dogs we did find a home, we ended up getting back, which is Arctic, which is the one I showed with the video of the puppies. He's the white and orange one, I want to, if I remember right. He's a good dog. He's a Cane Corso mixed with Malamute and Shepherd. He's got a lot mixed in with him. Good dog. He's not the brightest dog in the world. To a good chunk of the year, I worked so much. 2017, the job I was at, I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Yes, I was making good money, but the problem I had with it towards the end was I was literally seeing my kid grow up in front of me through the lens of a camera. And any of you guys out there who have kids know that's just not something easy to do. It really isn't. It's not something that you could just walk in a park and be like, oh, that's nothing. That's just, it's common. It's just how you live your life. It's just how you should live your life. Well, no, that's not something me and her wanted. We both sat down and talked about it. We wanted to be a part of, he wanted me to be a part of his life, which in turn we ended up switching for a little bit because I did go to school full time, which I started in September, I want to say. But I am going back to work. I am looking at taking up another welding job. That's why if you ever notice there's like a little bump on my face, like where there's like looks like a gap of skin just missing, it's because I think one of the weld sparks from where I used to work ended up hitting me through the helmet because the helmets we used to wear were not very protective. Yeah, they cover your face, but there's still a little gap in the back part of your head, so if a spark falls down, it can still land on your face. So it's not guaranteed to keep it from burning. I've got burn marks on my feet. My feet got burnt really bad. The only reason why I ended up going and seeing the doctor because of my feet was they were starting to get really pussy and just the redness started spreading, which kind of brought up concern with my girlfriend. We wanted to make sure everything was okay. So, like I was saying, though, with my mom, when her dog came down, we ended up, I want to say, the end of March. Let's say about maybe February 3rd. About a month after our son was born, we enjoyed the time, and then we ended up helping my mom's boyfriend, who's I want to say going to be soon husband. We ended up bringing him down, and I ended up helping to get a job at the place I worked at, and then gave him some time to build up and actually get his own place, which they are in their own place now. There's a lot of tension that happened before they got their place, which I would like to go in a little bit more about a little bit later, but I want to explain the in between verse. But what happened was he came down. I helped him get a job so he could save up and find his own place, which worked out. It really did, in my opinion. We did everything we could in our power because, again, there was a point my mom helped us, and it was just nice. So he was down here, worked where I was at. He caught a ride back to and from with me, which then in turn also helped really did help actually shorten the drive time down quite a bit. But he moved down from Columbus. He moved quite a bit from upper north to down south, because where we live in is I live in Dry Ridge, Kentucky, and at the time he moved in with us, so it was like a 2 to 3 hour drive from where I'm at, because it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours from Cincinnati. It was a crazy drive either way you went about it. It didn't matter. So then went from the time span started to shorten from them moving in, or from him moving in to now where my mom's ex, which is the father of her 2 children, who in turn she was with for quite a while, ended up getting very aggressive, started threatening them. So then we had to open up our doors to even more people, which started even increasing the strain even more, because we didn't really have the occupancy of the room or anywhere to really have them stay and be comfortable, which in turn put strain on Marky, and our relationship got strained because of it. It was about 3 months they were here. I want to say altogether 3 months at most. To her just going crazy because of everything. And then at the end, before they got into the apartment, we ended up getting into a big altercation, and then they ended up just having to leave sooner. Which, and all in all, it helped open their eyes up a bit. Like, there was just a lot of issues, because not only did my mom come down, her 3 kids with her, as well as my youngest sister. No, second youngest sister, Jane. She ended up having her boyfriend come down, which in turn he didn't work out that well, because we had issues with him wanting to help out around the house, just contributing to keeping the house clean, to just showering regularly. It was a mess, to just say the least. And the reason why I won't disclose names is because I don't really want to be on. I don't want issues with them, so that way I just, if you hear me say like my sister's name, I'm not gonna have issues there. But anybody in between, I usually ask before I allow just to say anything. So going from there, they end up leaving. He ended up, which is Jane's boyfriend, he ended up going back north, because he had an issue with Jane, and now they're about, let's say about 10-15 minutes from us now, which isn't bad really, because they're in Crittenden, which is only an exit up from where I'm at. But the distance from where they live is a little. It's not a terrible drive. Also, that happened throughout the year, which we're okay now. We didn't start talking till Thanksgiving, because a lot of the issues that happened, we ended up stopped talking for a little bit. It's just going throughout the year of a lot of my time this year went to working. Like, yes, I went to a good chunk of his appointments. I remember his first appointment where he got his 2 shots in one leg and one in the other. He would not sleep. He was just so restless, because he was in pain, and he only wanted to be held by me, which was kind of awesome. Because when he was younger, he was just loving. He was just really clingy. Which, I mean, when I say he, I'm talking about my son, Mateus. He was just at a point where he wasn't as independent yet. He was still curious. He was still sweet as could be, as he is now, but he clung on to us a little bit more, which really meant a lot to us, because again, first time parents, you go back and look at all the pictures, you could see just some of them where he's attached right to us, like clung to our hip, to where you see now he's more independent. He does things on his own, to just being an individual, which is funny, because we weren't sure if he was going to be more clingy or more, I guess you could say it's self reliant or independent, or however you want to put it. And then with him, he started just, he's a very smart kid. He's very quick learning. He's very sweet. He doesn't scream a lot unless he's cranky. He doesn't cry a lot anymore. He used to be. Oh, I remember now. Now I'm thinking about it. That was one thing I forgot to talk about. When he was first born was another story. I want to say the first 3 months of him being born was a nightmare because he was colic and he was really bad. Like, and I get why he was screaming and crying a lot, why he didn't sleep. So we ended up trying. I want to say it was Milacon drops we ended up getting. That worked really well with him. I want to say it was the Milacon drops, which in turn was actually really cool because it helped a little bit ease his stomach. It helped take away a little bit of the pressure. It was just I have stomach issues myself. I have ulcerative colitis. My girlfriend, she has irritable bowel syndrome plus a few other things wrong with her. And then he ended up just he was colic. So far, he doesn't have any allergens to anything, which is good. To so 3 months of just solid no sleep. Didn't matter what we did. Didn't matter how hard we tried to get him to rest. He was just always awake. And then when he did sleep, he slept for good periods of time. And then randomly in the middle of the night, he'd wake up screaming, which wasn't the worst. We got used to it. It was just Then I want to say it was 2, no, 4 months maybe. Maybe it was 3 months. 3 months again after he was born, I had an incident. See, here's the thing with him. When he was younger, he'd like to sleep on a pillow and he'd like to have his blankie. Well, he woke up, and because he wasn't quite used to it, we had a scare, which is my fault. Thankfully, nothing happened. We talked to the doctor. They're like, yeah, just remember, that's why we always tell you, don't leave a blanket or a pillow or anything like that. He ended up almost suffocating himself, which scared the life out of me. My mom helped me with him, ended up getting him normal and moving again. But I tell you what, that just terrified me in the moment that it happened, and it was rough. But other than that, we haven't had any incidents. The only incident, like I was saying in my other videos, we have is we're trying to get his diaper rash down or figure out what's causing it. We've changed his diapers to really hypersensitive ones. The only thing we haven't tried yet was cloth diapers. But other than that, we use washcloths when we change them. We let them air dry, and he just gets them really bad, and there's just nothing we can do sometimes to change it because we've done everything in our power to. Then, oh, that's right. Another fun event was Halloween. He was supposed to dress up as a dog, so we got him a costume. Or I want to say Marky's mom got him a costume, which was a dog. But we had a onesie, which was a bear close to a dog. It was cute. We ended up going and hanging out with Robbie. We walked around the neighborhood. We did our own little thing. His nephews got to go trick or treating, and Robbie got to see Mateus. He had a blast. Robbie, he's our best friend, so he's a uncle to Mateus in our mind. Really good guy. He loves his kid to death. He'll do anything in the world for him, and we don't even ask him to. It's just Mateus is just his little buddy, which is sweet. It's really kind of neat because I think we have some pictures. Yeah, we do. And then what was fun, mostly about Halloween, was we all got to hang out. We sat down. We enjoyed a good meal. Got to talking a little bit about Christmas, which I do have a video in the works about that too. I don't really want to diverge too much about Christmas because it was chaos. That's a topic I want to talk about with Marky here in one of the vlogs, I guess you can say, because we ran around, we were wore out, we stood up the night before real late to just finishing real late. We ended up getting a late start. So 2017 wasn't the worst. It was definitely crazy to us moving in January 1st to here where we're at now, to just dealing with the ups and the downs, to having literally nothing when we first got here, to finally getting some couches, to furniture, to beds, everything. Like, it just started coming together on its own. Then the dogs just kind of worked their way into. Originally, before he got older, before we ended up having to do this because it got to a point where we were ready to pull our hairs out. We ended up moving his crib to his room, which I want to say he was like 6 or 7 months old at that point. And the only reason why we did it was because he would wake up, and then in the process of him always waking up when we were to go lay down, he wouldn't go back to bed. So like, all right, we're not doing this. So we moved his crib into his room, and he loves it. He sleeps. He gets proper rest now. He's a bunch full more of energy, which is nice. And we don't have as much of an issue, which is even better. Because, like I said, it was hard to put him back to sleep after we woke him up. To just everything we did, it was just crazy. I know our year hasn't really been as crazy as, let's say, like 2016, which 2016 was our crazy year, in my opinion. 2016 was I want to say the worst year for us. 2017 lightened up towards till the end, which is like around I want to say around October. The only reason why I want to say that is because, like I said, I ended up because of FMLA, because I ended up messing up my back really bad at work, to pointing out at work to now having to find a replacement job, which I am in the process of doing, and just dealing with everything day to day. I do apologize about the mouse noise clicking. I am kind of going through some of the pictures. It's fun, and it's just a good reminder of everything. And these are some of the pictures I do want to post up with this video. I'm not really sure how many I'll do, but I might do a decent amount. I don't see why not. Oh, that was another thing I forgot. Our friend came down also this year too. He came down from New York, which New York is about 8 to 9 hour drive from here. Well, no, 8 to 9 hour drive from Cincinnati, I want to say. So it'd be about a 10 hour drive for them to go to here. And then he came down and visited us. We ended up spending time with him. He ended up helping us with the puppies, which if it wasn't for him, we'd be stuck with a heck of a lot more puppies than what we did have to. I know one of the pups that we were gonna keep somehow, and this is a sad thing. We do got a box for her for the cremation. It's just somehow she got underneath the car, got out of the house. We don't even still to this day we're not really sure how she got out because we left her in the house. We put her in the house, left her inside, so she can relax, do her own little thing, so we can go out and get her day done. To her somehow winding up underneath the car and then me running over her hips. I feel awful. She was a really good dog, very beautiful dog, and it really bothered us both. It's the only puppy we really have the most memories from, with the most stuff that happened, was because of that. To another event throughout the year was, let's say it was her brother. Yeah, her brother got married, and they ended up dressing up. I didn't go. I really, honestly, I worked that day. I had no desire to go to begin with, and honestly, I really didn't see any purpose for me to go. Like, I don't dislike her family. Her family is really intense. Like, they were just really full of energy, really full of life, and I don't know. It would have just felt a little awkward. To I know I'm jumping around a little bit throughout the year. I do apologize again. To just us upgrading his car seat, because on a lot of these videos we have a different car seat for him than we do now. This year has been fun. It's been packed full of energy. It's crazy. I'm probably gonna show a little bit more video or pictures than I do with the audio, which honestly I don't see an issue with. Oh wow. Just like I said, I'm going through some of these pictures. And one of the other things that I was also wanted to talk about was towards the end of the year with everything going on, we do, which it's not the worst, but we are planning on me getting another full time job while going to school. Lighten up the stress, which in turn, the reason why I'm saying this is because I'll be able to upgrade the camera again to something a little bit nicer. I do like the iPad, I'm not gonna lie. I'm having fun with that iPad. I really like the videos that it produces. Plus, I can actually make little short, like preview stuff, and it's really kind of cool. Um, I think that's about it. About as much as I can input. I mean, I know there's more that I can add into this by just having Marky come in here, but I think from my view, that's really sums up how 2017 was for us. So, with 2018 around, 2018 here, we're gonna, we're just gonna have fun. Look forward to see what comes next and go from there.